Okay, listen now. To join the clients with the domain, this is the server computer, right? And this is the Active Directory. I told you the domain name which we created inside the Active Directory. During the installation of Active Directory, we created the domain name. This was cardon.com. And inside this cardon.com, you have built-in groups, you have computers. Currently, you can see no computer is joined with the domain. No computer is joined with the domain. Domain controllers, there is one computer which is the domain controller, and that computer is exactly the server. It means there is Active Directory installed in that computer. Foreign security principles, there are some scripts and principles, but currently this list is also empty. And users, this is the folder which contains the users, the domain user which we will create here, right? And what is the function of domain users? I'm going to discuss this thing also. But first of all, we need to join some clients with the domain network to make members of the domain network. It is also called like joining client computers with the domain, making members of the domain, or making clients of the domain network. We call this how to make the computers as members of the domain network. So to make computers or the client's computers member of the domain, you need to go to the client computer, right? For example, this is one computer, client 1, and this is another computer, this is client 2, right? But remember one thing, if you are joining a client computer with a domain, you need to log in on the client computer as administrator, right? You need to log in as an administrator on the client, but this administrator account is the local administrator account, and I discussed what is the local administrator account of any computer system. So log in here on the by using the administrator account, because only administrator can make changes, other accounts cannot make changes. So you need to log in as the local administrator user on this computer. Enter the password of this computer and log into the system. Log into the system. So this is one of the client, and now we are going to make this client, this computer, a member of the server computer, a member of the domain network, and the domain name is cardon.com. But before making this computer a client of the domain, you need to make a few things possible. You have to make it sure that the connectivity between the client and the server, there is connectivity, this is possible. The connectivity is there between the client and the server. So how to make it sure? First of all, we need to check the IP addresses of the client and the server as well. So you need to go to the network options here, and you can see the IP address of this client computer. It is 192.168.0.10. This is the IP address. Let's see what else we have in the TCP/IP settings. Go to properties, go to TCP/IP settings, and you can see this is the IP address of the client machine. So 192.168.0.10, this is the IP address. 255.255.255.0, this is the subnet mask. What is subnet mask? I'm going to discuss this thing also in detail. And the most important thing which you have to specify here, that you will tell this computer that which one is your server computer. So the DNS server means that this is the IP address of the domain name server. So we have the domain name server here also, and which we installed the Active Directory, Windows 2003 server, and that computer is having the IP address as 192.168.0.1. So from this IP, the client knows that which is the server of this computer, right? So you have to specify before joining this client with the server, you need to specify the server IP address inside the preferred DNS server section here. So right now, the IP address of our server computer, it is 192.168.0.1. If you want to make it sure, just go back to the server computer and see if it is exactly the same IP address or not. So we'll go to the, this is the server computer right now. Go to the TCP/IP settings and click on support. So you can see this is 192.168.0.1. This is the IP address of the server computer. And similarly, as you can see, the DNS server and the IP address for this computer, they are the same, because this is also the DNS server as well as this is the server computer. So we have the same IP addresses for DNS and IP address on this computer. So let's go back to the client and try to join this client. So this was the client computer, which is having an IP address 10, and the DNS server must be 192.168.0.1. After that, click on OK button. Click here also. Also find what is the computer name. So go to properties and computer name. You can see the computer name is computer 1, but this is not on the domain. This is on the work group, and the work group name is AIS or something. This is a work group name. Now we want to bring this client on the domain network, right? But before that, again, you need to verify the connectivity between the client computer and the server. So we'll be using the ping command. So type ping 192.168.0.1 minus T is a switch. So we are going to use it. Reply is coming. It means there is connectivity. Remember one thing, whenever you are joining clients with the server, make it sure that there is connectivity. If there is no connectivity, you will be having problem, right? You will get some error then. Now let's join this client. So how to join? The same process which we did for in case of work group, but this time on the client side, go to properties, computer name, and click on change button. This time this was work group, so you need to make it domain. Now what is the domain name? Domain name is not AS, domain name is Cardon, which is on the server, cardon.com. But here you don't need to, this is Windows XP, so you don't need to enter the full name cardon.com. If you enter cardon.com or if you just enter Cardon, both will work, right? So I'm just entering Cardon. Automatically it will take the default name .com. So just type Cardon, click OK. Now remember, what is opening? You are getting a window, a small window which is asking you to enter a username and password. Now the question is, when I enter a domain name and I click on OK, this client computer is basically sending a request to the server that I am going to be a member of you. You want to allow me? So here you have to authenticate. You have to make it sure that yes, this is a client. You want to allow this person. But so for that reason, you need to enter the username and password of which computer? The server computer. Remember one thing, this is important. Most of the students, they make a mistake by entering the administrator account of this client computer. Now this is the user account, administrator account of the server computer, because we are sending a request to the server. So before logging into the server, making this member of the server, you need to make it sure the server is authenticating you, that you are a administrator. There is no other person, not an unauthenticated person, who is making this client a member of the domain. So server is making it sure that you are really the administrator. So that is why it is asking you that if you are administrator. So if you are administrator, then you will enter the username and password of the server computer. This is not the username and password of the local computer. This is the administrator username and password of the server computer. So let's try this by entering the username administrator and enter the password of the server also. Then click OK. If you enter a proper username and password, a correct username and password, the window or the computer will give you a welcome message that welcome to cardon.com domain, like we get in case of work group. The same message you will get here also, right?
So is this necessary to know the password of server?
Of course, because who is doing this thing? Administrator is connecting this client with the server. The employees or the clients are not doing this thing. So you need to know, because you are the administrator, so you will do this thing. Okay, so we got the message, welcome to Cardon domain. This time, instead of work group, we got a name, domain. So it means that this computer is now a member of the domain. So click on OK, and you are getting a message to restart this computer. So we will restart it. Click OK, and yes, restart this computer. So now this computer is a member of the domain network. Similarly, you will repeat this process on all the computers which are inside the network. We did this on this computer. Similarly, you will come and log in on the second computer, third computer, fourth, and so on, and repeat the same process on all the computers. But all those computers, they may be having different IPs, but you will make them members of the same domain, which is cardon.com. So we restarted the computer. Similarly, go to the second computer. This is another computer. Log in here also by administrator. Right now this is Mustafa. So let's see if Mustafa can join this or not. He was a limited user, remember. So go to properties and computer name, and you can see even he cannot click on change button because change button is disabled. Mustafa is not administrator of this computer. He is a limited user, so he cannot make this computer a member of the domain. So who can do this thing?
Only administrator.
Only administrator. So let's log off the computer. And log in by administrator. And then try right clicking my computer properties, but before that verify the connectivity. So let's check what is the IP address. It is, this time it is 2, and also check if there is DNS IP address assigned. So it is already assigned, so you don't need to verify it again. So it means that we have given the IP address to the client. Check the verify the connectivity. Ping 192.168.0.1. When you enter, so we are getting reply. It means everything is okay. Now go to computer name. The work group is something else. This is a work group. We need to change it to domain. Domain name is Cardon. Here you will type which username and password? Administrator of the server computer. Enter the password and the username, and you will get the same message for computer 2 as well. One was computer 1, this is computer 2, and we got the message. Just wait for a few seconds and you will get the same message here also. Once you get, you need to restart the computer to take the effects, and once you restart the computer, this computer will be a member of the domain. Now it means that we join 2 clients with the domain. Similarly, you can join all those clients which are inside your office or in your network. Click OK to restart the computer, and we join 2 computers. Now let's get back to the server computer. This is the server, and go to the Active Directory. Right now I'm going back to the Active Directory users and computer option. So open it. Currently in the computers, what you can see? 2 computers. Previously this list was empty. So it means that now the server is having information about the 2 clients. It means these are the 2 clients of the server. Server can manage them remotely or even on the site. They can manage them, they can control them, and whatever the administrator wants, they can make changes. So this was how you can make a client computer a member of the domain network. Quite simple. First of all, again I'm repeating this thing. First of all, you need to install Windows Server in the server computer, then install Active Directory to make that computer as a server and domain controller. The second thing is to log into the client computer by administrator account locally, and go to my computer, right click on my computer, properties, computer name, click on change button, and instead of work group, select domain. The domain name which you have entered during the installation of the Active Directory.
Can you write this?
Right? No.
Can you write this?